you Don here. Okay, back with another live stream. Check my audio there. Working okay. Now I'm gonna do a countdown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Now you're not seeing it yet. I don't believe you're gonna be seeing it for a while. I'm gonna wait. This is what I want to try again to fix this. Yesterday I tried for 5 hours. There, it finished finally on my preview. Now it's a little bit better usually in the video. Can't really tell by my, because now it's just getting started over there on my YouTube preview. But my preview here in the OBS Studio, that's what I used to, do my live broadcast with. It's a great application, and it used to work a whole lot better than this. There's a couple of things I thought of last night or this morning or whatever. When I started doing it, I don't remember what I was using, but when it was working great was in Fedora 23. So, and Fedora 23, I just went to 28 here a couple months ago. So, 23 was, EOL into life. No more updates other than maybe a few security updates here and there. And so, OBS Studio, I do remember that it got a pretty big update, when I installed it in Fedora 28. So, but at first it seemed fine. I don't remember noticing a lot. It's just in the last maybe month, maybe even just 2 weeks that it's gotten this bad. But it's really strange things. It'll get better and worse. Okay, now I'll go to camera 2, see what it's like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a little lag, but not super bad. Now, a minute ago I went to cameras 1 and 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're close. They're not both the same, but guess what? Camera 1 was really good on a different scene. Now it's still the same size of video coming from the camera, 720p. Everything's still the same camera, the same phone. Phone 1 is phone 2's on the other, the one that's showing my screen. That's how I use it most of the time these days when I'm doing, I'll do it to show a computer rebooting or something. And I just noticed that a while ago. I was doing a test to make sure everything was going to work. All the audio and video is working, even though not well. And I noticed that. Now that just throws a whole monkey wrench into everything, because that doesn't make. I thought that camera 1 was lagging always, and yesterday I didn't pay a lot of attention to it. Yesterday I was really focusing on trying to figure out if my new 10-foot USB cables that I bought for the phones were dropping the voltage and amperage so much that they didn't have enough power to run well, because I do believe, I'm not sure, but I do believe that the battery management on the phone will actually drop the Wi-Fi speed if you're on battery in order to preserve the battery. So I figured, well, it might do it on a long cable, but I tested them. I found an app. It actually turned out to be pretty interesting to me. I'd never tried that before, but I thought, well, there might be an app for that. So I found an app that, let's go back to camera 1 again and see what it does. An app that showed the real-time charging info. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Quite a bit better than it was, but still behind. It does that. See, I don't know. I thought I had figured out that, well, if I go to desktop first and then go to the camera 1, I thought it was the intro music that was causing it, because that was a problem in the earlier version. Well, they call it OBS Classic now. That version, if you used intro music, or I was trying, using an intro video with music, and it just completely hosed the sync for the whole video, just destroyed it. And I didn't know it until after the end of the video. I knew that it was kind of sometime, well, like what's going on now, it'll get better, and I wanted to use it, and so I kept trying it. And what I didn't know is that, well, the longer you played that video, the worse it would trouble it would cause. So anyway, and then the video formats had something to do with it. And by the way, I am on my phones. I didn't ever really mention that. Well, on OBS Studio, I've mentioned it before, but the default format when you install OBS Studio is FLV. Go to the desktop. Let's see. As long as I don't change any setting, no, I don't want to risk messing it up. I don't want to open up the settings or anything. But you go to the settings and look through everything. The video format or the video codec it's using is FLV, which is Flash, and I don't like Flash, and I always try to stay away from it. But it actually turned out in OBS Studio, and it's odd because in Windows machines in years past, it was real resource hungry to transcode into live and a desktop video into Flash. MP4 was the one that worked the best and the best quality for hit on your system resources. It's actually what's the better usually if you were just switching between codecs and doing conversions or whatever, or changing your codecs when you're making a video. I don't actually have to sit there showing that screen, do I? When you change a codec when you're making your video, like I've tried Flash, WebM, OGV. I've tried pretty much most of them over the years because I got into this. I was already into audio video. I did sound for bands throughout the 80s and 90s, and I worked on cable TV shows, like volunteering, and did camera work, and had a couple of jobs. I was a master control operator at a little TV station here in Dallas, and a place that edited videos, let people come in and edit their own videos on VHS tape. I worked at a place like that for a short time. Anyway, I always liked this stuff, and so I didn't really get into computers until 1998 when I got onto AOL, American Online, and that really opened up the whole world of being able to look up things and learn and study and find out things and play with the audio video on the computer. And as it came along and as new things came out, I always wanted to learn about it. So it's it's a constant change. Well, it doesn't change super fast as far as the codecs and stuff like. But anyway, lost my train of thought. But anyway, MP4 used to be what I always preferred to use. But ever since I've been using OBS Studio for my live streams, I discovered by trial and error that MP4 was working the machine harder than FLV was. So, and the harder you work the machine, the more, especially if you go long like I do. Well, like right now, see, it was up there at 54. I think switching causes a hit. But see, it'll stay around there, around 21 to 23 most of the time of the OBS Studio, and that's 21% of the CPU usage of a quad core, 2.5 gigahertz quad core, and I got 4 gig of RAM, and it doesn't use a heck of a lot of RAM. There is a problem sometimes with, like, say, if you open the settings and if you change one, or there's different things that if you do in the app while you're streaming or recording, or I'm doing both. It's how I do it. I stream and make a backup video all at the same time. So that's another thing. Anyway, if it can just all of a sudden start climbing, like it has a memory hole in it, and it'll just use up all the memory in the machine until it locks up your machine. You won't be doing anything. So right now we've got 684 megabyte, not too bad. I got 4 gig of memory, and then the shared memory that OBS uses is 132 megabytes. So about 750 or so. I don't know. I can't add in my head, but I can guesstimate in my head. So anyway, and then Firefox is the next thing. Using the next amount. Well, actually, how do I have it? I've got it organized by memory. I used to. Oh yeah. So see, some of the things that are using up CPU are on down the line. If you do it that way, then Xorg, which is the graphic user interface, and then what we got? Pulse Audio, which is what I'm using to talk through. That's the application that takes care of the audio in and out on Fedora 28 or 29. I'm on 28. Fedora's been using Pulse Audio since at least. Well, I think it was after. I was going to say Fedora 14, but no, I use ALSA. Well, you can use both, but it was defaulted all to ALSA, but I would usually install Pulse Audio because it had more features. Anyway, I won't go into all that. But and then KSysGuard, see, is that the one? No. Yeah, KSysGuard, like right now, is using 1% of the processors. That went away. So that's, it doesn't do it all the time, but coming back. It's kind of a heavy resource usage app, but as long as it doesn't do any worse than that, I always leave it open, because when things get in trouble, I can kill them right here, right at the end process quickly, and I can find out what's going on. Now, if you don't already have it running and you start having trouble with your machine, you won't get it to open in time before it's too late. So, and you can order them by clicking again. You can order them other ways, but I used to always keep it on CPU, but then what would happen is when something started using a lot of memory, I wouldn't notice it. So I do it by memory now, and it pretty well keeps the top CPU users up near the top too, because if it's using a lot of CPU, it's probably using plenty of memory too. So anyway, my system's okay, and I've been doing this, this system for about 2 years or so now with OBS. With same system I had Fedora 23, now it's Fedora 28. But so that's okay. And I looked at my Wi-Fi speed on one of my cameras yesterday. I was getting 65 megabits, and I think I've seen them do 72 before, but these phones won't do. That's not bad, for a phone, or for it's better than these laptops I have. They're older laptops. They do 54 megabits tops, So it's plenty for what I'm trying to stream. 720p. Let me think. I think it is MP4, or is it FLV? Now I can't remember on the phone itself. But all the different streams that I send in. See, I'm using VLC Stream. It's an app called IP Webcam that sends a VLC stream into the sends a VLC stream out onto my local network, and then I pick it up with OBS Studio. I do. You have to do, and with this, with VLC, I think it's just only way it works, because I used to use it by itself, but it's the only way I've seen to be able to do it on a phone. Easy way. I mean, you might be able to get in it. I mean, I've got some little terminal apps for my Android phones, and I've seen people do it all the time, like on a Raspberry Pi. They set up a VLC stream just in the command line, install VLC without even a GUI, on the Raspberry Pi, because it's lighter, use less resources that way, and then start up a stream in the command line. I've seen how to do that, and I'm sure that something very similar to those commands would work in an Android phone, because it runs, well, it's a little different, but it runs on the Linux kernel, so you'd probably have to find the exact Android commands, I thought about trying that, but and then of course I could try other apps, but before I settled in on IP Webcam, I tried probably 4 others, and it was the best one. Started watching my hand wave around from about a minute ago. Okay, so excuse me. Trying not to take cough drops all the time, especially since I'm running low on them. I had 2 bags that were both pretty low, and one of them disappeared, and I don't know where it went. I keep forgetting to look for it, too. Might have just fell back behind the desk or something. If it did, it'd be hard to get. I don't think there's a gap where it could fall there, though. But anyway, if I have to take one, then I'll be smacking on it for 5 minutes, so I hate to do that. But I don't absolutely have to. So let's go to the desktop. That usually stays in sync pretty well most of the time. Oh, yeah. I like to make sure my backup videos, there's my backup video being made. I can see that, it's growing in size. So I'm going to close that, so I won't be using the resources for no real reason right now. And, I was clicked on case discard, yeah. So, I did a bunch of research yesterday into different apps and stuff. Yeah, let's go to Google Play and look at the ones I saved in my to have a wish list. For me, it's just like a save and compare list, But I guess it would be a wish list. Say, I think you can put, movies and junk like that in there too, I guess. Maybe that's a different list, but anyway. Yeah, it might be for everything in Google Play, my wish list. So let's see. This is one that camera motion detector and smoke video detector. Smoke video detector. I wonder if, I just never realized what that says. I wonder if, like, if the camera sees has an algorithm to say, okay, that looks like smoke, and it sets off an alarm. Well, that might be interesting. But that's just another IP webcam app. Now it may work okay, or maybe it may not do a VLC stream though. And then what's this? Air mirror control devices. Yeah, I thought about trying another remote phone top app again, because the ones I used to use, my phone Explorer, got to where it worked okay, but it was really laggy, and then it got to where it wouldn't hardly work at all. And Team Viewer, well, same thing. It worked pretty good at first, and then after a while of using it, it got worse. And I don't really like Team Viewer anymore because it's just really invasive into your computer, watching what you do on your own computer and stuff. I'm not used to having to put up with that crap because I don't do Windows anymore, so definitely not putting it up with it on a Linux machine, you know. So let's see, what's this? Vault. Oh, that's that Camera Fi 2. There's another idea I had. Now, I don't think my phones would do it. Let's see what this other one is before I go on. Well, finish my sentence. I don't think my phones would do it, but I thought maybe my 10-inch tablet I got from my mom might do it, and that is instead of trying to go over the Wi-Fi, if you could get your phone, that's the weirdest picture. That is an endoscope or a magnifying camera. This woman's got it stuck up to the guy's head. I mean, I hate to even think about what she might be looking for. You know, what's he got growing in his hair there? But that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen for an advertisement picture for something. But anyway, I actually put another version. This software maker. Where is it? This app writer here. I forgot what it was called. Somewhere down here, should say. Vault Micro. Oh, they're in Seoul, Korea. Okay. So anyway, Camera Fi Live, I think it's this one right here, Camera Fi Live. I had used that before. Oh, these go together. The one that I was using, I guess I should go see about what is on my system so I can explain it. Apps. Let's see. I think these will be the one. No. Where's my apps? How you do it. There it is, my apps. Okay, now this shows everything I have, and it also keeps the ones that you've uninstalled. So first it was confusing, but then it got to where it was I learned how to. So Camera Fi Live, that was okay before. Well, actually, it's the only way with my old. Mine is Android 4.3. That's how old my phones are, and there's of course, no updates coming out. And I haven't ever tried to manually update them, by flashing them or anything yet. I might one day. But anyway, you can stream live to YouTube, but I think it wouldn't work at even 720p. I think you had to do like 640 by 480. And the one I was thinking of by that name was thinking that it was part of this. Let's see where the other one is. Here it is. Oh, Camera FV5 Lite. So I think it probably is the same outfit. This one I put back. I had used it before, and the reason I went ahead and used it is because it actually worked with my lapel mic, but it's restricted. Well, it was restricted to, I think, 720p, and I didn't like that because I was recording straight on the phones and then uploading. Now it'll do the next one under 1080. Well, I did some tests. Oh, maybe I can check out those tests. I'll let them upload to Google Photos. I can go see. The sound was so low on that phone I couldn't hear it. And then I did one with my favorite, just regular phone recording app, Open Camera, and the volume was really low there too. So, and that's one of the things why I bought a mic for the phone, a lapel mic for the phones. But anyway, I was going to see if it was the same outfit. No. CinemaFV5.com. Well, of course, that might just be another. Well, there it is. Flavino Gonzalez. Yeah, Germany. This is a whole Gonzalez in Germany. We got lots of Gonzalez's here in Texas. I didn't know there'd be a single one in Germany. I mean, of course, there'd be a single one in Germany, but how about that? Gonzalez with a Z in Germany. Huh. Interesting. Okay, so of course maybe they're not from Mexico. Maybe they're from the Spanish people use. Yeah, I guess they do, don't they? Yeah. Might be a Gonzalez from family from Spain. Anyway, I mean, not to say you can't get from Mexico to Germany, but you get these days people move all over the world, don't they? So anyway, and have for a long time. That's how we started America, isn't it? So anyway, yeah, here's a bunch of that's lots of apps I have or have tried out here, but excuse me. Go back to my wish list. Lately, I can't seem to say words right. So anyway, this one I do not. It will work with interfaces: video source, built-in camera, or USB camera. Oh, okay. Audio source. In mic, UAC, USB, audio class. I'm pretty sure I tried this before and it didn't work. And it'll do 640, 1280. I guess, yeah, see, 640 by 480, 1280 by 720, or 1920 by 1080. Of course, I usually call this 1080p, so then we usually call that 720p. So that would be 480p. So, or I. There's a P and an I. And I is a little less higher, a little less resolution, I guess, than P, from what I've gathered. Anyway, that makes it sound like you could use that and just plug in a. I'm pretty sure I tried it, but maybe I better try it again because it might solve my whole problem. I just realized. When you read up there at the top of the descriptions, it didn't sound like it was going to work, but right there it does. But I also saw in the reviews of people saying it didn't work. It says it works with USB cameras on my Honor 7X, but I don't anything, just a black screen. Okay. Anyway, it sounds like it didn't work on USB for him, but that was the other thing that threw me off from not downloading it again. I'm pretty sure I tried it before because that same picture was on there. I remember that picture when I saw it. That and the name. I remember there's 3 Camera Fi apps. Of course, now I realize these are from different people, maybe, but browser record a video using not only smartphone camera but also USB camera. But I think what I think is going to happen is when you're using your smartphone camera, it goes over Wi-Fi, and if you're using a regular USB camera, then it goes over USB. Of course, that would be plugging it into your phone. Now, my phones don't do OTG, so they wouldn't do that. That might be what I'm remembering. So the 10-inch tablet, which I might use occasionally, I don't want to set up myself to need to use it all the time because I bought it from my mom, and I don't usually touch it for a few months, you know. And it's that way, you know, if I have it all the time, because I'm recording videos all the time, then she wouldn't be able to use it if she did want to. Which I think she does quite often when I don't know it because I'm not in there, you know. She, once in a while I'll see her with it. But anyway. But what I would do is, what I'm wanting is kind of backwards. Okay, yeah, you record with this app from the camera in the phone, or you could plug in a USB camera to the phone if you have one that'll plug into a phone. I think that's what they're saying. I think one of these apps I tried, it said you could use a DS. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, okay. Using microscopes, endoscopes, high-quality USB cameras such as a camcorder, DSLR, etc. This is the one I've tried, and it didn't work on my phones. Maybe it would work on Mom's. Well, if I had to say, I've got a couple of webcams, it might work with them if you had an adapter to go from big USB to little, which I do actually have. I have an OTG cable for that, a Y cable, but might make it work on it. But that's not what I don't want to use those old webcams. I don't think it would. Yeah, I don't think it would do what I'm trying to do. I don't think you could plug it, and it may not be possible the way the machines are made, the way these phones are made. They may not have a way to route the video from the camera to the USB cable because they just didn't think anybody'd ever want to do that. Or it would just cost more money to do that. So still might be worth a try on the tablet, but again, well, I'm almost certain I tried it on my phones and didn't get anything. Just a black screen, like I said. I like that guy said. Okay, so this is still a contender, but it's not. It's the only one I saw that even sounded like it might do something like that. There's another Camera Fi webcam. I read that yesterday and it didn't sound like it would do it. I forgot what all it said, but Vault Micro Inc. Okay, they have Camera Fi USB, Camera Fi Live, this and this. Fix OP, that looks like a scope camera, close-up camera. Camera Fly Live Ice old version. Okay, that's what they have. So the other one that I was actually trying out again, and it didn't. Oh, I need to see if that video came out at all. I guess. Let's see what else I've been looking at. Let's see. The main thing is, well, one of the main things. There's one thing that I have tried, and I may try it again, and that's reducing the. I'm trying to do 30 frames per second on the phones, and it works great on the desktop doing and I don't want to change it if I don't have to, because I don't want to mess up my live desktop videos. They're doing good. I can be talking on the SM58, the Wi-Fi camera over the phone, either one. There's a little difference, sometimes in the sync of the audio video, but it's not as critical on the desktop as it is when you're looking at somebody's face talking and everything anyway, but it's fine, and I don't want to mess it up. Let's see. Mobile camera as a CCTV. Yeah, okay. That's an IP camera app. And then that was just something I thought interesting. Electrical calculator and conversion. Electrical, amps and milliamps and KVA and all that. I remember it had KVA. Print from anywhere. Okay, these are stuff that I already had just thought about trying. The reason I hadn't actually put them on any phones is because they're too full. I can't really put more stuff on them. Some of them I've put on and took back off. Well, I guess they're not in this list. Maybe I put them back, like say maybe that one. There's one that I used, and that's when I found out that my phones didn't support OTG. So some of these I may have put them in my wish list just to remind me that I might want to use them again if I ever decide to delete some other stuff. But that, or maybe if I got another, I just decided I didn't really want a tablet because I don't like the Android ecosystem. The operating system's fine. The ecosystem with all the ads and blinking crap and just BS and the whole thing. It's way worse than Windows shareware and freeware junk that I was so glad to get away from in 2005 when I discovered Linux. So what I would like to do is, I don't like the touch interface. I like the keyboard and mouse. So I just use these phones because they're $15 cameras that are half decent, resolution. So they were 1080p. Well, 4K was just way down the road when I got mine. Now it's the thing now. But did I say 4K? Yeah, 4K is the new 1080p. So as they like to say, the new black, green's the new black, or whatever. However they always used to say that. Black's the new green. I don't know. I guess they do. They change it all the time. I never can keep up. All right, so my preview over there. I was trying to listen to my preview, and it's over there not. Sometimes it just decides it's not going to work. Let's see what this one is before I take off and do other things. Let's see. Yeah, overview camera. Yeah, connect them on the Wi-Fi. Yeah, so it's an IP webcam. IP webcam app, basically. Let me check my sound again now that I've got my thing working. Okay. What is that? Just a name, no explanation. Photography. I don't know why I thought that was interesting now, but for some reason I did. I'm pretty picky, so it was probably fairly somewhat interesting. File sharing, Wi-Fi remote. Okay, so well, let's look at this one too, just to make sure it doesn't actually have a feature I forgot. Oh, okay, that's why I put it in there. Smart camera and microphone, IP camera, USB camera. Huh. Pretty quick. Not much of an explanation. Wi-Fi. Can be connected on the OTG cable. See, now that, well, I still don't want, that's not what I want to do though. I don't want to plug in a camera to the OTG on a phone or a tablet. I want the camera signal to come out of the phone through the USB, and then I can plug it into my desktop. Okay, so yeah, oh yeah, I remember that had, I kind of figured that out before I got to that. It's made by somebody in Russia, obviously there. So sometimes you see Chinese text in some of them. Anyway, update phones. Yeah, that's looked like maybe an easy app to help make it easier to flash your phone with a new operating system. Okay, error mirror remote devices. Let's see. Remote control Android devices from a PC. Yeah. Now you can mirror remote control Android seen on your phone without root or USB. Now, the one thing that my phone Explorer that I used to use, it worked on USB or Wi-Fi, and it worked pretty good on USB. But then it got to where every time you tried to connect, it wouldn't connect, and I just got tired of messing with it. Oh, and you had to use a Windows client, so I had to either have a Windows machine or try to do it in a virtual machine, and so I got tired of messing with that one because, well, it kept the USB got to where it just wouldn't connect no matter what I did. I think maybe because I might have been in the virtual machine where I got to where I couldn't get it working anymore. And yeah, that might have been it. And I don't even have a Windows machine on hardware anymore. Just one Windows. It's in an XP in a virtual machine. So anyway, I could use, if this would work and not lag too much, I could use this to control the phones and make good videos and show it on the videos. Oh, download Android desktop client. Oh, okay, you got to download their client, right? Well, you do with all of those things. But if this is the one I think it is, it said it worked on Windows, Linux, and Mac. The client had a client for each one. Now I don't see that. Maybe I didn't save the one that said that on it. I was looking at them. There was one that said that it would. It said it. I might have saved in my wish list the wrong one. Have to go to their website and see what. Well, I'm not going to do that right now. That'll just add more serious data over my Wi-Fi. And right now, I just want to see if I can get my cameras working. Okay, so. It's kind of a bit hard to get my head wrapped around what I have and haven't done, or what I want to do next. So kind of okay. I know one thing that's in my head right now. I'm gonna go to Google Photos. I think all of the videos I made yesterday as tests should be uploaded and playable. So let's see. Hey, down here. Okay, tested an open camera. Make sure it's going to work all right when I go out in the garage. It did the other day. And just with the built-in mic, because I've never been able to get it to work with the lapel mic. Guess I could try it again, but I'm getting tired and hungry. I guess I'll do all that later. Alright, let's go to the next one. Now that was with open camera. This is going to be. Alright, now we're testing the camera fire, or whatever, I forgot what it's called now, with the built-in mic on the phone. Which this app, it did work with the lapel mic, but the volume was really low and I couldn't see anywhere to adjust the volume. Yeah, notice the size of the video is smaller. Hello, okay, down here. Testing camera fire live with the lapel mic, and I think I'm banging the lapel mic and I see a little signal. I thought you had to turn on the audio monitor, but it monitors as soon as you start recording. So let's go ahead and, if it works good enough, I'll use it to make a video out in the garage here with the lapel mic. I've got to unwind some more cable. I didn't want to do it until I saw that it worked, but I got plenty more cable. Okay, let's see how that is. Okay, so it works. It works. That one was with the lapel on camera 5, not camera 5 live, camera 5 or whatever that was I was showing a while ago. This one was with just the built-in mic, and then that one was the built-in mic on OBS Studio. Now the sound, the phones have automatic, leveling, automatic mic leveling that I've never really found a good way to. I found one or two apps where you could turn it up and down, but it turned it from automatic to manual, and then, if you make a big noise, it distorts all over the place. And it just didn't work well at all. It's best to leave it. Oh, hello. Let's do that. I forgot where I just came from. Oh yeah. Let me get back on the camera for a minute. Let's count down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, sometimes when you initially, it's way behind, and it's in slow motion, you can see my movements there when I first started. It's just all in slow motion. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, now it's finished. I'm calling out what I see on my preview screen. That way, when I look back at the video, I have some kind of idea, something to reference, But yeah, if I do these two, let's see what it does. Oh, it's still, my preview is still showing from a while ago. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's still from a while ago. So it's still out of whack now. So go to camera 2 again. 1, 2, 3. 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's out of whack now. So go back to the desktop. So that gets to where it's just unusual when it gets that far behind. And if I go ahead and switch to another scene, especially like to the desktop, then it just cuts off what was trying to come in. And I went into that in my previous video. I've got, you know, gigabit routers. My Wi-Fi on this D-Link router is supposed to be 1200 megabits, and so and of course the phones. Well, yesterday when I checked that one, I just checked one of them. It was 65 megabits. That's plenty for what I'm doing now. And I can do a speed test. I got plenty of internet. I got 200 down and 10 up, and I usually get just a little better than that. But that 100 miles an hour pegs now, but it still works. It still gives you the 200 measurement. When they made that graphic, there wasn't anything. That was 100 was more than anybody ever had. Well, this just happened recently. I mean, it was just last year that 100 was what they had went up to, and I really didn't ever think they'd go up to 200. Now my upload, well, see, I'm streaming right now, so that's not bad really. 8.62 while I'm streaming. So maybe I'm using let's just say that's 9 to round it off. So 9, 10, I'm using a megabit. Let's say if I actually, before I started streaming, had 12 megabits, so I could be using somewhere between 1 and 3 megabits from a stream. So that's why I say that's how I estimate my guesstimate what I think I need. And the download is, you know, it's 215. So, and that's of course, well, while I'm streaming upload, it's not going to really affect your download speed. So I will have to get one of the phones and physically change the I'll get this number 1 up here and physically change the bit rate, because let's see what it's doing now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at that. Now it's not so bad again. I mean, obviously I'm not in sync. I can see my mouth moving after I quit talking. If I look at myself while I'm talking, it messes me up. I can probably get my I was considering installing a remote phone top app to see if I could make the better video, you know, of changing all this when I start doing things on the phone, but that's just going to add to my bandwidth that I'm using, so I don't want to skew my tests that way, so I won't do that. And that phone, the video I just previewed, that audio is so low, and that app, it doesn't even do 1080p, so why use it, you know? So I'll just go take it off. That's on phone 2, the one behind me. Take it off later. I'd already taken it off all the phones because of that, I think. The only reason I put it on there is because it's the only one I found that will actually work with my lapel external mic. OBS says it will, but it doesn't. And I've used OBS ever since I got the phones a couple of years ago or more. So let's see. Yeah, let's get on the Wi-Fi. Yeah, let's get on the Wi-Fi mic so I can move around. Okay, now we should just be on wireless. Yeah, let's get on the Wi-Fi. I'm listening to make sure it is working and everything. And okay, now let me get this phone, and I guess I will. How am I going to do this? The other one's behind me. I didn't really know how I wanted it to work, so I didn't set up. Oh, okay. Let's get on the endoscope and cam 1, I guess, because cam 2 is just going to show the back of my head. Well, it's just going to show the monitor right now. I could zoom out, but it's not going to help much. No, but I need to put the endoscope over here on my. That's what I did yesterday, and that worked out pretty good. Oh, I'm going to yank everything down. That cable on, see that long cable? Well, it's another 15, it's another 10 foot besides that. So I got to be really careful not to destroy everything in the room with it. Okay, now I got it here, up here in some way or form here. Now I'm going to get the phone 1 and put it under the endoscope somehow. It's on a tripod, so it's going to be a little different. I think if I raise it up, maybe. Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, I was going to switch off of it because I'm going to have to. I'll just go straight endoscope because you won't be able to. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Maybe I can use it like that. I've got lots of cable. If I can get it to where I can use it. I want to keep it plugged in if I can. I think I should be able to. Got 10-foot cable, so. Now. I'm trying to lock my. How do you do that? Well, let's don't do it. I was going to trying to lock my chair in the upright position. Lock your chairs in the upright position, please. Okay, so didn't want to do it, so, but it sure does get uncomfortable. There we go. No, why aren't you doing it? It never gives me trouble doing that before. There. I guess I wasn't leaning forward enough. Yeah, that puts me up to where I can see. And if I can get this all still in some particular form or fashion. With the tripod, with this phone being on a tripod, there's only so much I can do to, there we go, to okay, now. Yeah, this is way more trouble than I was realizing it was going to be. There's not enough room for my. Yeah, I need it down there on that anyway. If I try to, it's best if it's sitting down there. If I try to set the tripod up on my deal. Okay, let's see. Well, I know I'm too far away. If I get it just right, the legs set on my chair. I had it just right a minute ago, and then I moved things around. Oh, here we go. Only thing is, I'm pretty, well, of course, it's all upside down, isn't it? Let's see. I can get it to go sideways just by doing that. And then when I lay it down, it should be, let me go to sleep. There we go. Well, I can't even, I think it's upside down to you. Let's see if I go closer. To get a whole lot closer for it to be readable, okay. But it's upside down. And I don't know if I can, now I have to twist this cable around to fix that. And it's kind of just a, it's kind of like wrestling a goat to get this to do what I want it to. There it is, right side up. Okay, now, if I can get it to stay right side up. Whoops. I've been thinking, I've thought about this before, but Well, I thought about it again, but anyway, I tried to, it spins, you know, the cable spins in the mount that I have set up here. I thought, well, if I could make it where it don't spin so that when I got lucky yesterday. I set this thing up here and it was right set up, but that was just luck. This is just getting ridiculous. So anyway, what I was trying to say is if there, that's right set up, but I don't know if I can make it stay like that. That's the thing. And I would need something a little more substantial to clamp the. Now I need to move the phone. Let's see. Okay, it's right set up. Now can I make it stay like that? I'm squeezing this thing that it's in. Maybe I've actually. Oh, don't move that. I started to move the cable because I didn't like it being in front of my laptop. And I thought, no, don't move that. I realized, don't move that. Okay. It's whipping around on me. It hasn't stopped, settled in. Okay, now. Well, at least it's right set up. And we'll see what we get out of that. Oh, now I've got to get it to... It changes. I guess when it goes to sleep, it does that. Yeah, now we got it right set up and all that good stuff. Okay, and the light from the ceiling is at least off in the corner there. Okay, so what I wanted to show was, what does that say? Disable notification, don't show app running in background. Why do I have that turned on? Well, it's been fine like it is. Okay, I don't want it streaming on boot. Whoops, oh, it wasn't at the top. So plugins, settings, video preferences, effects, power management. It's a really full-featured app. And you can, and they don't, the ads always say how the ads are aggravating, but they don't limit the features, which is really cool. I can do 1080p, it's just that it won't work on my Wi-Fi with, you know, all the conditions I've been talking about. Okay, and they have a cloud streaming thing you could sign up for. Don't show app running in background. I don't know, but right now, okay, so this is something important to what I'm doing. Audio mode disabled. Now you can do enable, disable, or audio only. On the camera 3, I do audio only. On these other ones, I do disable because, you know, that's just more streaming of data that's not even being used. I'm only, and I did discover that if I get my audio from camera 3 and then my video on the other 2 cameras, it helps with this latency problem, you know, with the delay with the audio and video out. It actually helps. I thought it might. I thought, well, if they come from the same one, it might get better, but it gets way worse. So that's another reason why. Well, that and I want to have, you know, with the camera 3 hanging in my little bag around my waist, you know, that camera bag around my waist and the lapel on my shirt, then I can walk anywhere. The audio works great even out in the garage in the driveway. It's you know, it's not as much near as much data as video. So, so I leave the audio disabled, and this camera is still streaming right now. Well, maybe it's not. Let me look and see. Let's see if it's still streaming. No, it went off when I got out of the preview screen. It quit streaming. So actually, let's restart the app. We'll kill it, and then go back. And that's the icon for the app. Oh, now I've got to make it go the way I want it. Come on. Okay. Oops. I had it all set up. Okay, now. There we go. It's got effects. Let's see, let's start at the top. Plugins for install and configure plugins. Let's see what I have on there. Surely, oh, okay, uploader. Yeah, you could upload to sites. I've got that turned off. I think I installed it and then turned it off thinking it might be using up bandwidth. Video preferences. That's the #1 thing we want to get into. Okay, recording. Now you can do recording, but it has a big old watermark, and it does make the phone work too hard. This is a quad core with a gig of RAM, and that's a lot of work. Which not only does it make the phone work hard and heat up, if they get too hot, they'll shut down. I don't know. I've never seen it happen in the house, but it's happened outside. Not while I was using this app, but anyway, it seems to make the lag between audio and video even worse. Remember, I got 2 audio sources: the lapel mic on camera 3 that I'm talking on right now, and then the SM58 through my mixer, plugged straight into my computer mixer, Behringer V-amp, then to the computer. Then you got main camera, secondary camera, and of course I'm using the main camera. It's a higher resolution. Video resolution 720 by 480. It's the highest I can stream at, period. I don't want to go any lower than that because I've been able to do it, for one thing. But the other thing is, all the work I did setting up my scenes in OBS Studio is ruined, and I have to start over because it changes the sizes of everything and how it fits on my 1080p palette, they call it. I have a 1080p palette, and you've noticed that I can put them, well, you can't do it now. Let's see, Endoscope M2. I can put them side by side and they fit. Doesn't look like they exactly fit because there's a lot of black at the top of the, the camera view. But if they were both set up normally, they would just, they would fit. They'd be the same size. So it takes a lot of work to get that to all fit, and it was working. So I'm not going to give up on that and go. Well, and the other thing is, you can just, one of the things I use it for, one of the main things I use it for is, of course, right now you can see the back of my head and I'm zoomed in on the monitor. Is the whole point of that shot. So when I'm working on computers and rebooting them and stuff, I can show, or if I don't have remote desktop going, I can at least show a blurry view of what's going on. And the reason it's behind me and zoomed in is because I just don't have another place I can set, my mic stand or the camera. I can set it on my desk to the right, but it's at a severe angle, and that doesn't look good either. What it needs to be is taped to my forehead, and I can't do that, and I won't do that. It would be moving around. It'd be terrible video. Then you would actually, if it was though right basically on my forehead, the camera, then you would be able to pretty well read this monitor, most of the time at least. Trying to go to sleep on me. So anyway, 720p at 720 by 480. It's not a limitation of the app. It's the only thing. It's the highest resolution I can stream on the Wi-Fi and get away with it. But photo resolution is 2592 by 1944. That's the max the phone will do, and that's what I leave it on. And location, GPS, quality 100%, video oriented. What's really strange though, when I go into the desktop, so you can look at these phones on the desk. You can do quite a bit of setup on the desktop. This is how I zoom it in. So I go here. This is camera 2, and depending on if you're using what browser you know you're using and all that stuff to which one of these works the best. But the one that just says browser, that's the codec, I think, is what you really, or the encapsulator that you're selecting. See, Flash, browser, Java, JavaScript, and then there's full screen. And then audio, there's no audio on this one, so it wouldn't help to click on that. A little player comes up. If I do it on camera 3, you'll actually see it playing. But down here a little lower, you've got the zoom. And it always starts at 99% when you get in this screen, even though I have it set on 100% on the phone itself. And I always click it up a little further. I want it up there, you know. And then you can do, I darken it a little bit so that you can read the screen a little better. This white screen, you know, it's not going to look any good. That's white too. But anyway, I've got it zoomed in, and I have to set my, you know, I have to adjust my camera on. It's not a tripod. I generally call it that, but it's really a microphone stand that I have it mounted up in. So that's how I do that, and I forgot why I was saying that, but why I was even talking about that. Let's close the browser now. But back to the endoscope. Okay, now I think my cable twisted itself some more. All of a sudden I can't have things in the same place I had them in and have it straight. Well, I'll turn the phone, I guess, if I can. That cable just kind of decided to move a little more. It's a snake. It's like a dead snake. They keep on moving. You ever killed a snake and laid it on the roof of the house just to see what it would do? The roof of your mobile home that's metal, really hot roof, to see what it do. It crawls down from there with its head cut off. They say it's just muscle memory, or muscle memory, you know, electrical impulses in the muscles of the snake. The dang thing crawled down. I saw it. There's a big old snake too. But it wasn't a poisonous snake, I don't believe. I never did get real good at identifying snakes. So when I used to live out in the country and had my own place when I was younger, and I didn't want them biting my kids. And they'll bite you even if they're not poisonous. So I usually killed them. Well, the dogs would find them, and then I would usually kill them. And of course, I was probably not doing myself a favor. If it was a rat snake, it would have ate the rats and mice if we had any. We only had one rat get in the house, and it was a giant field rat. When I was married back then, my wife said, "Don, come in here. Look." And I said, "Well, oh no, that's a different story." But she said, "That's the biggest rat I ever seen." This was after we had that big rat. Oh, and she was scared to death. And what it was a baby armadillo. I mean, not a baby armadillo, baby raccoon. It was a baby raccoon. And it had crawled. I had been in the process of, I had made a big hole in the floor to install a dryer, and I didn't get finished, and the hole was, I thought, oh, nothing's going to get through there, you know. Well, but baby raccoons thought that hole was perfect for it to crawl up through. And I was getting ready to go to work. It was early in the morning. She made me get that out of there. But the rat that we had, we always put out rat poisoning anyway. We found the giant field rat, not as big as a baby raccoon, behind the stove, dead. No, we didn't find it behind the stove dead. I guess we had a couple of mice over the years. That's, yeah. The giant rat, we found it outside. We had window unit air conditioners, and found it outside where the little air conditioner dripped water, and it was trying to, you know, rat poison makes them thirsty, so it had went there to get a drink and died right there. So anyway, luckily we did not have, we had lots of trees in a creek where we lived, but there were some fields within a quarter mile, and so, I mean, those big rats don't just, they call them field rats, but, and I guess that's, they like to make, because they like to make nests out in the field, but I'm sure they make nests wherever the heck they find a good spot. But field mice, but they're too big to call them mouse. Call them mice, they're rats in my book. Okay, secondary camera. Why am I telling rat and raccoon stories? I have no idea. Okay, so video orientation, landscape, because you don't want it change, and you don't want it automatically changing on you or anything when you're trying to make, and you can flip it. Now, frames per second limit, finally getting there. Okay, my hand's getting really starting to hurt. Okay, now I have discovered that I like focus, I like smooth for recording video. Flash mode, I've got it on auto flash, but it never comes on during the video. I have seen it. You can turn it on if you're using like OBS Studio or something. I mean, open camera. You can turn on and it helps while you're making a video. And of course, the flash will work, taking a snapshot. But there's times when you'd really like to be able to just turn on that flashlight on the phone for a little while to be able to see what you're filming. That's a lot better than trying to hold a camera in one hand and a light in the other, and then work under the sink with your tongue or something. I mean, what are you going to do? So I was working under the sink a couple of weeks ago and making video, and I had to lay down the flashlight. And these things, they're really pretty good at low light. And what I didn't realize is you could see everything with or without the light. The light just kind of highlighted where I was trying to work, but I couldn't see it to work on it, but the phone could. So if I had the same eyes as the phone, I'd see pretty good in low light. So anyway, frames per second limit. It says no limit, maximum CPU battery, network, USB, all of it. It's maxing everything out when you do that. Funny that they mention USB. Does that mean that you can stream? I haven't tried it. What if you could just plug in a USB cable and use this app? I've never tried it with this app. I've probably tried it with Open Camera now that I think about it. That makes me have to try it. Okay, I'll do it in a little bit. Well, let's do it now before we change anything. What I was going to say is I've got it on 30 frames per second, which is, that's the max it could possibly do, is evidently. So I did try 25 here a month or so ago, and it didn't help. And it just made the video, when it did get on time, it was choppy, And the only other thing is you could go all the way down to 15. You wouldn't go any lower than 15 if you're going to make a video. If you're doing lower than 15, you're making pictures, So you're doing a slideshow. So I could do 15, but then I don't want to change that's why I haven't done this. I don't want to change my frames per second on my stream to, that's what I did, is I changed it on the phone but not on the stream. But ideally, whatever you choose as your frame rate, you really should do it all the way across the board. But I got to thinking, well, as bad as the phones are right now, I'd rather have choppy video, as long as it wasn't in slow motion and a minute behind what I'm saying, than have, and still have my desktop video and everything okay. So I may this is what I may try, but now, just now seeing that's making me think, hold on there, let's take this thing out of the charger and plug it into the computer and see what happens. Might as well. Okay, and since we got a camera behind us, we'll just go ahead and, what did I put it on? Camera, yeah. I'll just do that. Well, I'll go to the desktop and show what I'm doing. I'm talking about it, but I didn't show it a minute ago. This is how I zoom in the camera every time I do this kind of video. When I want to show when I feel the need to show my, and I want it to work well enough that when I'm talking about what's on my screen, that's what you see, So you can click on it and then use if you just want to do short moves, then you can click on it and use the arrow keys right and left, or you can just drag it. Oh, I forgot to show the camera. So now I'm zoomed out. See, you didn't get to see that, but instead of just showing the back of my head, and see, I will put back the exposure back to normal. So now I can, don't leave that running, that will overwork your machine in no time. So now I can go to endoscope and camera 2, and we can see the phone and the lost my train of thought there. I'm going to put this up over here for a minute while I get this cable. I think I'm going to have to, yeah, well actually, I hate to move that. That's going to really, well, just do it. I don't know what's going to happen with the aiming of my endoscope, but got to do something here. So this cable is plugged into a charger under here. Oh, I think I had pulled out all the slack that there was. Okay, and yeah, I think that'll work. Okay, now I'm getting to where I need a break though, so that's going to be a whole nother thing. But let's do try to finish what I started here. I unplugged it, but what did I do with it? The whole point is to plug it into the, I just now noticed that the cameras are not to get, that it's way behind what I'm doing and saying. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to plug it into the computer. I don't have the app running right now anyway, so it won't do anything. Oh, endoscope. Dang it. So, well, I can unplug my backup drive. That's what I'll do. Yeah. Because otherwise I'd have to go to the back of the computer. So I'll unmount my backup drive and unplug it. Because I got the endoscope going. Now you see, that's another thing is I don't know how many USB devices I can run at once and not overwhelm the computer. As a matter of fact, 2 is probably the absolute maximum cameras I could have plugged into this computer and have it work, because maybe I could have, I might could do all 3. A dual core, I could do 2 webcams for a while, but it doesn't keep up for very long. This is a quad core with 4 gig of RAM. I've never tried it. But now I'll probably have to, if I have a new camera, I just realized that I should end up with a new scene. That's what I should end up with. Let's see, where's the, oh, the endoscope's over there. Gotta get it back. Okay, now let's get the camera back. And get it woke up. Oh, the app's on. Okay. So this would be, this is camera 1. Let's see if it works. Yeah, it's just a black screen. Now here's the thing I just realized. Let's go back down here. It's kind of better like that, isn't it? It's kind of crooked, but yeah, it's better that it's kind of crooked than having that light in the wrong place, I think. Okay, so where you can't even read it at all. Okay, so I'm going to get out of this app, which is what I should have done in the first place. And we'll get just on the endoscope. So what you need to do on OBS, if you're going to try to turn on a camera app, you know, the IP webcam app on and off, while and get away with it in OBS Studio while it's running, streaming or running, either way, you know, just running. I'm going to wait because sometimes when I hit that twice, it's actually was still trying to open it up. When I hit the, okay, now let's try it again. There we go. It usually opens up pretty quick. And again, it's not. Come on. Okay, now, start streaming. Okay, so camera one, actually it's just going to work through the Wi-Fi like that. Yeah, you can see that it's at the desk. See, okay. So it works like that. Now that's something I hadn't thought about. How would I, yeah, I don't think it was meant to do out the USB, but let's say we tried to add something. No, not a new scene, just a new device. Oh no, that would be a new scene. I'm just gonna let it be. Can do. I can add another thing to the desktop and then you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I add a thing to the desktop, it'll make it, you know, you can split it and do all that sort of thing. Okay, oh wait. Let's do it the way I was fixing to. Scene 2. XSHM, screen capture XH. Yes, I forgot something. You didn't have any sound all that time, and I forgot about that. Sorry. That's what happens when you do this stuff live.
Yes, I forgot something.
Okay.
You didn't have any sound.
Okay. What I can do, okay, I think I can copy this one and put it in there. Let's see. Let's try that. Copy. Now I'm going to go down there and it'll be silent for a minute. I grabbed the video instead of the audio. There we go. Now we should have sound on that, on this scene, and it's my desktop. So
There we go. Now we should have sound on this scene.
okay. Now it's only my desktop right now. So let's see. Well, I want the video for Linux, but that we figured out. I was talking all about it. What I figured out, well, let's just do it again. This, what I was saying over and over, was this is my endoscope camera. So if I add it, it wasn't actually working when I said go here and say OK. It actually wasn't working. Let's see. Where is it? There it is. Uh-oh. Maybe that it's not, no, it's just black. Maybe what it is, it's not working. It's black. Yeah. Just not working at all. I guess because I'm trying to select it twice. So if I take it out and I go ahead and say video for Linux capture device, but I click add existing, then it works. Now we got it. And then a while ago I was resizing and trying to kind of get them about the same size. But so that's the endoscope. So I don't want the endoscope in there. I was hoping to try to get a stream of camera 1 in there. And the only reason I was using the desktop at all was just so you'd be able to see what it was I was doing. I'll leave it a little smaller so that when it pops in a new thing, I can find it to resize it. Okay, so now that does not work with IP webcam. With the all I'm doing is streaming like normal. It'll work. I mean, it's running, but it's streaming like normal. Now I'm going to try open camera. Oh, I've got camera file live, and I've got, well, I don't want to stream another live stream. I've got open camera, and I'm not showing you that though, am I? Gets a bit confusing. So I've got open camera, and everything's behind. I can see nothing, but I can see the desk there. But I can always change this to a better view, can I? Well, if it out, I don't think it would automatically. Here's what we need to do. It seems that the endoscope is frozen. May have. Me messing around, taking it in and out. I think it froze. Dang it. That means I can't fix it. Well, I might be able to by unplugging it and plugging it back in. So I'll try that. That's the only thing I really have. Well, first going off to another scene and going back sometimes fixes it. Usually when the endoscope freezes, it's either because the machine has been, the computer's tired from running it so long, or because you jacked it up by messing around like I just did. I have to put it in there 2 or 3 times, and then this last time it messed things up. It didn't mess it up a while ago. I put it in and took it out 2 or 3 times. Wait a minute. Screen capture. Yeah, screen capture. Okay. Back to endoscope. Yeah, it's just frozen. That's what it does. It shows the last picture that it saw and it just freezes. Okay, so I'm going to unplug it from the computer and plug it back in and hope that fixes it. Thing is, when you put it back in the same port, it doesn't always fix things. Yeah, it's still showing the last thing that it did, so it probably won't fix it. If it would go away, then putting it back in there would probably fix it. And it may be more something to do with OBS Studio than with the endoscope. But camera one, yeah, camera one's not streaming. It's on open camera right now. So let me plug the endoscope back in and hope that it fixes it. Probably won't. So yeah, this is not something you ought to be doing during the middle of your live stream or making a video. It's messed up now. It would probably be fine. I might have to go so far as reboot the computer. It would probably be fine when I shut OBS Studio and and open it back up. Probably, maybe. I'll say maybe.
Probably.
Okay, so let's see if we have any other. I'm going to this new scene I'm making. Now let's see if we have any other choices. There's no new, choices in there, but if there's a new video for Linux, it'd be a USB. That's what I'd be looking for. So no, there doesn't seem to be a new one. I think, yeah, I guess actually if there was another one to choose from, it would show in that list. That's why it's just black when you say OK. For instance, I can try this. Let's see. No, that probably won't work either, but see if that endoscope started working. No, it didn't. It really fools you because you think, oh, I guess it's just frozen, but it's not working now. It's unplugged. And see, the OBS is just hanging on to that last image. Now I've got other cameras over here, so I'll try one of them. I'll try my other old webcam and plug it into that same port. I've only got 2 in the front of this machine. And I have figured out that you have to plug like that, whatever one I was plugged into when I set up these scenes, I have to plug back into the same one to get for those scenes to work. I can plug a different camera in there. That's why I'm going to go ahead and try that. The camera came on and lit up. Well, it went off. I didn't mean to be on. I shouldn't have really been on that scene as I plugged it in. Sometimes it'll fix. Go back to different things like the camera and the desktop and stuff. Sometimes it will fix itself. Nope, it did not. So I may have messed it up by let's go back to this camera. Oh, let's go to the desktop. And what I was going to do is open up a camera app. Let's see, do I have one right handy? No. that light on that camera usually stays on if it's working. So I'm going to open up Cheese webcam and see if it, yeah, no device found. So while I'm on desktop, I'll go ahead and unplug that camera, try plugging it back in. The light just blinks on and goes back off, so I don't think it's going to work. Usually that's what it does when it's not going to work. Yeah, something goes wrong. Sometimes you have to actually reboot the computer to straighten it out when that happens. Let's see, go back to the camera 2, and I'm going to try the other, and I have another even older camera here that I'll try. Okay, it's on. Let's just see if it works. Nope. Oh, I didn't try adding it to that scene. Let's see if it works on the machine at all. I know I've got 2 camera apps. You know, if I just want a webcam app, I've got 2. Well, this one doesn't, Cheese doesn't see the one of them right now, and probably because everything's out of whack. Can't think of the name of that other camera. Well, let's go up here to audio and video, then I'll find it. The other one is harder to find. There it is, GUVC view. Sometimes one will work and then the other. It says USB driver. Oh, that's, yeah, see, it doesn't see the phone's camera or anything. It says, it sees, I just now noticed that it's got a USB driver is the driver. It's not mounted to connect to the files on the machine yet. You have to, well, if it was it's the Windows driver. It's a little ISO that mounts on your computer automatically, and it'll mount on Linux or Windows. This right here. And, well, I can just open it, I guess. And it's got a USB driver in it. You don't need that for Linux. See, there it is right there, auto run INF, that's all for Windows. You don't need that. This is a little Windows app to install the driver so that you can connect to the phone to transfer files and photos and stuff. But in Linux, you don't need it. I don't know if I can connect to it or not right now, but, well, I can check and see. But, oh, I don't know why I opened that up. I don't know my way around that. I know my way around this. It's, I can move this USB camera. It ain't going to work during this video again. I'm pretty sure about that. And put my chair back to my normal. Ugh. Setting up straight's bad for my back. Bad for my neck, that's for sure. Uh-oh, now my chair, the wheels are worn out on my chair, and if I don't have them turned exactly the right way, it feels like it's going to flip backwards. And I think it would if I lean just a little bit onto it. Okay, now, let's see. Yeah, the USB driver, but there's no, you know, like the phone itself. So that's just where I was just at and showing you a minute ago. So let's go back over here. Now when I open GUVC view, it says error, no video device found. You seem to have video devices installed. Do you want to try one? USB camera. Yeah, let's try that. Ah, it worked. Okay. So it's got a tiny preview because it's set on a tiny, this is a really old camera. It's set on 160 by 120. So it will do up to 352 by 288. And you can see why I don't want to use these instead of my phone cameras. And the frames per second in this app, you can't change it. It says 1/1. I don't know what that really means. Usually they'll do about 15 frames per second. So, so we can quit this app now, and let's see if it's going to work. And sometimes doing something like that will cause it to show up. It didn't. So OBS has just gotten whacked out for me jacking around with it too much. I can try to add it over here. Let's see if we can add it. Add a video for Linux device. I know it's working now, so, but the only one that shows up, well, this could be, let's see if it's this camera instead of, it might not be the endoscope now. It just says video capture device V4L. So let's see. Nope, I was just saying it worked, but no. It's still looking for that, you still got the frozen picture from the USB camera. So, gonna remove that. Yeah, I got away with doing that 3 or 4 times. I should have known not to keep on and on doing that. That wasn't a good idea. Okay, I'm gonna remove that whole scene because that cable being plugged in is not helping matters at all. So I'm gonna unplug this camera too, and I will try one more time plugging the old. For all I know, it could try and recover, you know. So the thing needs to go back to being a charger again. Let's see, I can't really see down there. There we go. What do we got? Oh, cameras, cables sticking out. USB, I lost my, there it is. I couldn't find my cable to my backup drive. I wanted to plug it back in so that I don't forget. When I reboot after a while, I want it to, you know, be plugged in, mount up, and and I was going to turn on the other camera again, but I need a break for quite a while now. And boy, I'm so behind there, still under the desk. Okay, now what if I turn around? I think I'll just be out of the picture, but at least you won't see the back of my head. Okay, I should have went on to changing the, I didn't want to do the frame rate changes. That's what I had in mind to do since last night. I just didn't want to get into all that, but so I got into a bunch of junk that's way more of a pain in the butt that none of it worked. That's the only thing else I know to try to do is just change the frame rates, and it may not be a good idea to do it while I'm making a video. Well, the one thing I can do, it doesn't cause really a problem most of the time to, if I need to reboot the phones, I mean turn off IP webcam and turn it back on, or even reboot the phones. You know, I've got two phones, so I can do one at a time. And I've got the desktop. Well, of course, that doesn't show what's going on with the phones, but anyway, that's what I need to do. But I gotta have a break, so I'll take a break, get everything set back up normal, and just start a new video and do that, I guess. Anyway, I've always kind of wanted to show more about how OBS Studio works, and so I got to show quite a bit of that, and also showed you what you can do to jack it up. So and that actually, you keep adding and removing that USB, any USB camera like that over and over like that, and it's liable to hang up like that, whether you're recording or not. I've done it enough times. So to know. So I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye and come back in a little bit. All right.